bad feeling about this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contiengecy Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to our All Han Solo podcast.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
That's right. You do have a bad feeling about it because it is not an All Han Solo podcast, although we love you, Han. This is a reread podcast. We are in Vector Prime still. We are going over Chapter 10 today, Running the Belt. But let's go ahead and hop into Jedi Council. This is a little redundant here, so I'm not going to ask you how your day was. We recorded two of these on the same day, so this is the second actual podcast recording. You know, we're going to have some weekend stuff pop up, and weren't going to be able to do our normal thing. So it's about 9 o'clock now.
Yeah.
We both have work in the morning. So
I have an angry girlfriend waiting for me to come over.
Oh, no.
That ain't going to happen.
Oh,
How's your week going?
Goodness, get out of here. So, but
I
yeah.
didn't ask that question. So
How's
you can
my week
answer.
going?
Yeah. Overall.
Well, I had to watch the Browns brown it up again
I watched about...
against the Saints.
I want to say 1/4 of it at the golf course by the house.
It was a good game.
And
I
it
mean,
wasn't terrible.
It was a good game, but, you know, we have a kicking problem. Of course, he's gone now.
Yeah.
They have signed
that was
another
quick.
kicker.
That was literally the
But
next
apparently they were saying he had a groin injury that they didn't know about. They found out like after the game, and he was not 100%. But you know, that's sort of what we do here in Ohio. But you know, one day.
Next year.
Well, 0-2 is not the end of the world.
No, it's not. I mean, they still show more promise.
I've shown a lot more promise than they have, but it's kind of tough being a Browns fan. But yeah, did that and then kind of hurt my neck, and now I'm just really tired. And after this, you know, I'm ready to take a shower and just hit the sack and listen, you know, watch a little Bob Ross.
You know what would really help you wind down?
Bob Ross.
No, you know what else would? Something new. Watch some Westworld.
No, man.
That's my new addiction.
Yeah, not when I'm trying to go to sleep. I'll tell you what, and I'm honest about this. I will put on Bob Ross and just listen to that Afro Ninja paint his happy little pictures. And there's something so cathartic about just watching him paint. And I'll be honest with you, I really do want to try and paint. I've never had that sort of artistic kind of talent. I mean, I've tried to draw in the past, and, you know, I've drawn a little bit, but I never really stuck with it. But, you know, I've always just wanted to try that method of painting because, you know, I mean, he says it's easy, but, I mean, come on. It's all about practiced hand, really.
Yeah.
But, you know,
It's all relative.
Well,
as I'm shaking my hand, if you guys don't get that.
We don't have video for this.
It's for him, not you.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, it is a cool way to paint, and it makes some truly kind of cool things. But, you know, I used to watch him when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think Grandma used to watch him a little
in
bit,
between
so
Walker, Texas Ranger, and Diagnosis Murder.
Is that the one that was...
Diagnosis Murder was Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
he was a doctor.
What was the 90210 show? Was that the full name of it?
No.
Did they watch?
No, you just had Diagnosis Murder. She watched that. She watched...
Did you watch Murder, She Wrote?
Murder,
too?
She Wrote.
Yeah.
And then she watched Walker, Texas Ranger.
Okay.
When the eyes of a ranger are upon you.
And Dad still has to watch all his good old Bonanza shows when we go to the hangout. It's just like watching Grandma
watch Bonanza.
He's gotten to the point where they got a big screen at our favorite restaurant down my way, and it's always on TV Land. So it's either MASH or Bonanza.
That's funny.
Well, I take that back. Sometimes they'll have some good old Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah. Little Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
I actually
didn't mind Andy Griffith. The rest of the characters were terrible, but he wasn't bad.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Bob Ross, he does. He kind of helps me sleep.
I've never heard of anyone saying that, but that's a good idea. I've never really had much issues falling asleep. It's getting up that's my problem.
I don't always, but sometimes it's just part of my unwind ritual, I suppose. But all of his shows are on YouTube.
Okay.
All of them. He has a channel, or they put a channel together. They actually on Twitch, they do marathons. They've done like 24-hour marathons of just Bob Ross.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I might have to try that just for the heck of it. Like I said,
Listen, nothing knocks you out faster than a nice little happy tree.
Honestly, I got my little routine for falling asleep, and it works every time. Pitch dark, just pure blackness, fan running at full speed.
Handle of vodka.
Lots of beer. No, the other night I kind of messed myself up. I had my regular routine going, and I forgot to set my alarm.
Yeah.
But I already had my door closed. I had all my lights off. Like, now I got to fumble around and find my damn phone because it's not in bed with me. I have it on, like, the nightstand.
Yeah.
So I get up. I find that finally, set it. And because I'm stupid, I turn the light off before I lay back in bed. So I'm trying to find the bed, and I find the corner of it and nearly fall out. At this point, I'm like, well, now it's going to take me forever to fall asleep because I'm freaked out.
And this is when Darth Vader comes in the room?
Yes.
So if we haven't put you all to sleep before now. I'm just kidding. No,
oh, my God.
But yeah, no, nothing's really been happening with me. Yeah. It's the same old stuff.
I think that's the Bob Ross picture we're trying to paint here, people, is nothing is happening in our lives.
Nothing.
They're very
like our
boring.
Facebook. Talk to us.
Make us feel wanted.
We're
not wanted.
No, but in all seriousness, though, if there's anything you'd like to discuss or have us discuss, Star Wars related, just here on the podcast, make sure to reach out to us on Facebook. Austin generally runs that. Or you can send an email to tcplanpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll discuss those on the podcast for you, and just whatever theories or questions or comments or whatever.
Have we hit 100 listeners total for all of the podcasting channels yet?
I think so, yeah.
I was say I haven't checked in about 5 days a week, but it was around 80 last.
Yeah, I mean, at least by statistics, and I can't necessarily.
And that doesn't include YouTube, correct?
No, I mean I haven't looked at all platforms, but yeah, I mean we have some consistent subscribers. We have a couple people that are listening consistently, which is actually really cool.
They're just real quiet.
It's all good. You don't have to participate in any of that. It's just an avenue if you want to get your voice out on the podcast and just give us some more stuff to talk about aside from how I like to listen to Bob Ross when I sleep, or how Austin fumbles around and gets chopped by Darth Vader at night. Just things like that.
Actually, I lied. It's actually Yoda that comes into my room.
Yeah, he is a Darth. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll move on a little bit to the HoloNet. What did you drag up today?
Han Solo's coming out. No, seriously, Solo's coming out in about today's the 18th, and I believe in about 10 days now. I haven't Googled this in about a month.
Is it the 25th or the 28th?
I think it's the 28th.
Okay.
Don't quote me. But I think it's about 10 days from now we'll be getting to watch Solo with all the deleted scenes that better be very basic and not like Last Jedi deleted scenes.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any part of that movie missing. It felt like a cohesive story to me.
I think so, yeah.
Unless they had some really good editing skills. I think there's just going to be little funny quips and useless 30-second scenes. Hopefully.
Well, for sure. I mean, you can actually get the movie now on like iTunes.
YouTube. I don't like that setup. You can buy movies on YouTube now.
Yeah, that just I don't want to pay.
Out of all the digital libraries, first off, YouTube doesn't have my card information. It's going to stay that way. Second off, out of all the digital libraries to keep a movie collection, YouTube is not where I would keep it.
I'm trying to find this date, and it's like I'm having to jump.
That should be really easy.
I'm having to jump through so many freaking hoops, and now I'm in an article.
It's at the end of the article.
Monday, the 24th.
Or both wrong. Great.
Yeah. So, yeah, the 24th of September. So
we got less than a week. That's great.
Yeah, we saw the movie. I saw the movie when it released in theaters with a few buddies, and then me and you went to. Did we go to the big theater down there in Polaris?
Yeah.
Is that where we went?
Yeah.
And we watched it, and we were going to do a reaction video, but then.
Oh, we did.
That's true. Yeah, that was before we bought the new camera.
Do you have a dog?
No, I'm kicking this bucket that's under me.
That sounds like it's far away. Okay, I was like, do you have an animal in here, or is there just a ghost?
No, I'm kicking the bucket, literally and figuratively. No, I have a 5-gallon bucket under me. I'm kicking the thing. So, but anyway, no, been thinking about a dog though.
I thought you were gonna say been thinking about kicking the bucket.
Well, I've been thinking about that too, but I didn't want to go emo. But anyway, we actually.
That's my job as Darth.
Yeah. We attempted to record a reaction, but we didn't have the new camera at the time. And there were some problems with the memory card. I forgot to completely wipe it. And
He's lying. He kept the cap on, guys.
Oh, God, no. Not. But anyway, we decided to just hold on until the DVD came out, and then we would do kind of an official YouTube review. And for you guys, if you haven't checked out our Last Jedi review, head on over to YouTube. And oh, God, we talked way too long on that. It was insane how
2
long.
hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, well, you had some issues with it. I do too, but a lot of mine were in stuff that they should have added. Should have kept in the movie, and certain things that we didn't need.
Just how they kicked Luke's character in the face.
Well,
multiple times. But that's okay. We'll go ahead and spoil a little bit for you on our review. We'll be talking a lot of positive about this. I would have to I don't think we had. Do we have any negatives about this movie when we did our actual review?
I think there were maybe some slight little critiques, but nothing major. It actually was a really good
nitpicky stuff.
Yeah, a little nitpicky stuff.
The fuel, I think, was our only real.
The fuel's just still kind of like it's like midichlorians. It's like no, there's space fuel, guys.
Actually, I think they're pushing it more on than the midichlorians because was that 1 or 2 movies where they referenced it? 1. They didn't mention Attack of the Clones.
No, they referenced that in the first one, episode 1,
Phantom
Menace, and then that's where it died. But yeah, no, that
along with Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Now Yoda mentions it after, I think.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, Solo actually was a pretty good movie, and we're looking forward to rewatching it and giving you an in-depth kind of review of what we saw, because it's gotten some bad press and some heat. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that was mainly due to The Last Jedi. Not so much the fact that Solo was a bad movie, just mainly The Last Jedi was not to people's liking. And I've read some online reviews, and right now Solo is carrying a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which isn't bad.
Can I throw in a little spoiler for Solo here? Or do we want to save that?
Do whatever you want.
This morning I was being a nerd and playing some Call. Oh, yeah, I know. I was playing some Call of Duty with one of my buddies as a nerd this morning on my Tuesday off. Who has Tuesday off?
Somebody in their early 20s,
apparently. And we were talking about Solo because he finally sat down and watched it last night. Like, yeah, it was amazing, right? He's like, yeah, and the reveal of Darth Maul at the end was just, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, yeah, I feel like it really solidifies that we might have an Obi-Wan anthology movie. And we get to finally see him kill him. He's like, and he wasn't really listening. He's like, no, don't you know that Obi-Wan didn't kill him in that movie. He got mechanical legs. Like, oh, I forget. Some people aren't Star Wars nerds like us.
Yeah, some people didn't continue on the journey there for sure.
They kind of like the people who act like they're video games fans just to be cool now.
I love games.
The least amount of effort possible. But yeah, I forget sometimes that some people don't obsess about things like we do.
Yeah. But no.
But it's still exciting.
Right. But I am looking forward to that. I think a lot of the standalone movies have been pretty good. And by a lot of the standalone movies, I mean both of the standalone movies. God,
Secret one that Disney sent us.
Rogue One. Holy crap, what a movie.
A lot of people hate that one. I don't get it.
Really? I've never heard anybody talk negative about Rogue One.
I've watched some reviews lately just out of curiosity. Ooh, no.
God, what a bunch of jerks. The only criticism I had about that is like there wasn't like the big emphasis on character development. But the thing is,
I don't think there really was
dead.
supposed to be. So you knew going in that they all died.
But I love that movie, and our theme song, which was created by an artist on. Well, I don't actually remember his name. I'm sorry. it was through the Fiverr network, where you just kind of contract out, and you get a lot of people that I need a theme song for my podcast, and you get 20 people. I'll do your theme song. I'll do your theme song too. And then
do they all make it and audition? You just waste 19 people's time.
No, you pay for it. You kind of have to you kind of have to go in thinking I'm gonna have to pay money for this. Like I cannot pay just $10 because it'll sound like crap. And if you remember, I actually had 2 people make a theme song for us. And the first one was the one that I'm using. That guy was amazing. Mm-hmm. The second one, I wanted something different for a contrast, and what he gave me was garbage. And it's no offense to the guy, but it was garbage. It wasn't even any good. And I kind of told him, it's like, this isn't really what I'm looking for. Maybe could you do something like this? And he was like, that's not what you told me the first time, so that's not what I'm going to give you. And then he tried to send me something else, and I was like, it just still sounds like nothing to me. It's not special. It's not interesting at all. And
that score actually caught me when I was watching Rogue One the first time too. Yeah. That was a great great
and it was based off of a song from Rogue One.
Yep. Can't think of the name of it now.
Yeah, but it was based off of music from Rogue One, but obviously it's not the same. It has its tweaks,
and it's a very similar song to some of the prequel.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted.
Score, and that's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think we paid $40.
Okay,
$40 for the theme.
We split everything, so I can't quite remember.
We have it all written down, but. Yeah. There was that, and then the logo was like, $20 or something like that. And to be honest, like there might be a time down the road where we might redesign
Upgrade
the logo.
when we have some money built up, sure.
But I mean,
I like it for a basic.
It is a decent basic logo. I had to go a few rounds with her because she wasn't quite getting what I was. And it was a little
cartoony at first.
Yeah, well, I think
you edited it yourself at the end.
I went into Photoshop and I just color filled the way I wanted.
So you basically paid for a template.
Well, that's what kind of PO'd me a little bit, but it was okay. It was fine. She got the basic idea of everything out there, but yeah, I mean, eventually we might change it. I have some ideas for the future because eventually I want to do some T-shirts.
Yeah, same here. And you gotta have multiple logo T-shirts.
Yeah, and then I'm going to be going to Celebration next year in Chicago, and I got to rep the podcast. So,
are we gonna do a Last Jedi shirt where you're like? Do a cartoon version of each of us, and you're just like, and I'm like,
that'd be good. That'd actually be pretty neat.
And a Force Awakens ones where I'm just like losing my crap, just going insane. You're like, okay.
I'll tell you honestly, that'd be interesting. If we could get some caricatures of us, like me as a Jedi, you as a Sith, that'd be kind of a neat T-shirt. We'll think about it for the future.
Hey, I already called. I'm doing an emo look.
You are emo.
I'm gonna do eyeshadow.
Oh God!
And I'm gonna dye my shaved head black.
You were always such a happy child, though, with your long curly hair.
And then I shaved my head, and it all went to crap. No, I was gonna say something else about Rogue One. I like what they did with Vader in Rogue One.
Oh God, that was
so bad.
That was so good. You didn't even need Vader in there for a long period, and he shows up and he just kills it.
And it's like watching Alien.
Yeah,
it's like the first time Alien is revealed, and he just massacres every one of those.
Well, I mean,
technically,
they did show him before that when he was talking to Krennic, but
true.
Don't choke on your aspirations. You know, got that little cheesy line out there.
I guess we got a new voice actor for Last Jedi. Did you hear? Playing Vader.
What?
Not Last Jedi. I'm sorry. The
for
next,
the
next one after Last Jedi.
James Earl Jones is still alive, isn't he?
They got a new voice actor.
What?
That's what I read.
What?
Yeah.
Why was that not the story for today?
I thought you knew that.
What? James Earl Jones, he is still alive, right?
It said confirmed new voice actor.
Oh,
I think he's still alive.
That is nuts.
Well, I guess we're changing the story, guys. Or wait, are we at the story? Are we still on council?
No, we're in HoloNet, I think.
Okay. Well, now we are, if we weren't. Oh, yeah, we were talking about Solo. Duh.
Who would they even change it to?
I'm not sure. I might have read a stupid rumor one. It might be wrong.
Better be a rumor.
Do you remember on HoloNet, I want to say 2 episodes ago, we confirmed that Hayden Christensen's going to be in the movie, and you're going to have Darth Vader and young Annie.
Little Annie.
Talking to old emo face.
Okay.
So, yeah, I believe I read something about there being a new voice actor for Vader. That's
insane. Well, James Earl Jones is still alive.
Yeah, I thought he was.
And he did.
He's eternal.
He did do the voice for Rogue One, and he did sound older. Yeah. I'll give you that, but you're part of the Rebel Alliance.
I kind of liked it, honestly.
It was a little bit more mature sounding.
Vader.
James Earl Jones has a very interesting backstory, and it's not really so much for this podcast to explain, but there was a whole short. Actually, I think it might have been Mike Rowe, who did Dirty Jobs. He does this podcast where it's very short. It's like 5-minute podcast where he just kind of goes over like a historic figure and event in a very short manner. And he told the story about how when James Earl Jones was a kid, he had a stutter. I think it was a stutter, some sort of voicing.
I think I've heard that too, yeah.
And, he was nervous and he didn't like speaking in front of people. But he did this report on, I want to say it was like a fruit, like grapefruit, I think it was. And he read it and he was so into it, and it kind of boosted his confidence. But that guy has one of the most iconic voices.
He's on par with like Morgan Freeman, honestly.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. But he was also in one of my favorite movies, The Hunt for Red October.
Ooh, didn't think about that. I'm trying to think who else was in that movie. Wasn't
The Hunt for Red October
Whitaker
was
in that?
No,
that's a little bit older.
It was
movie.
Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
Well, okay, I might. I don't want to mix up movies because I like sub movies. So you have U571, and then you have Hunt for Red October, and I think Hunt for Red October was Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm still coughing, guys. I can't help it.
Good old Sean.
Yeah, Sean Connery, but yeah, he was also in that, and that was the whole Jack Ryan.
Yep.
At which they have a new
TV series
which
on.
That is totally.
Isn't it on Amazon Prime or something?
Yeah, but that's horribly miscast. The lead actor there, I don't hate.
What's his name?
I think he's the guy who played Jim in The Office, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I just don't think he's right for that role. But hey, I am not an expert. Yeah. Hunt for Red October, Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, Sam Neill. He's also a good actor. Okay. Tim Curry, he was in there too. He was like the ship's doctor, the Russian ship's doctor. A lot of really good stuff. But that leads into some of my favorite 90s genre movies: Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger. What was that other? Oh, Crimson Tide. That was another sub movie.
Crimson Tide.
Shoot, I can't remember. What. Patriot Game, the other Harrison Ford movies that he did. The Fugitive wasn't quite the same, but there was The Fugitive and then Air Force One, and I liked Harrison Ford a lot. But anyway, getting a little off topic. What do you think, man? Think we're about ready to do a little rereading here?
It's about to turn into a TIE Fighter podcast, guys. I don't want to talk about pod racing.
Oh, it's not that bad. We'll get through it. So yes, we are in chapter 10, running the belt. In chapter 9, we kind of went through sort of an exciting kind of action-filled deal where we're starting to get really into the Yuuzhan Vong invasion. And
snapping necks and gerper.
Yeah. Go back and listen to that if you haven't already. But now we're kind of slowing down. So we know that Luke and Leia, Mara, the twins, Jason and Jenna, Anakin and Chewie, and C-3PO and R2-D2 are on their way to...
Not the bodyguard?
No, they did. They left him behind.
No, they got rid of the bodyguard.
What was the planet? What was this planet called? Lando's planet?
The moon in between the two feuding.
It's like Outer Rim territory, but
well, don't they actually fly towards Ramamul and Asarian?
I don't know. About
I think
that.
that's actually mentioned.
We'll get in here, but anyway, so they're going to visit Lando, and this chapter is kind of another place setting kind of thing. It doesn't really get super deep, but
this is dessert to the main course we had last week.
True,
and
but
by that I mean a half hour ago.
Yeah, but there are some interesting things in here concerning Jaina, who is actually in this series of books probably my favorite character. In this series,
would you call her a Mary Sue? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I like Jaina a lot. It's her or Jason.
I don't really.
What are my choices?
I'm okay with
and he doesn't really exist, except for when he has to.
Well, we still have our main heroines, our Luke and Leia and Han. But I think Jaina was a very interesting character. She is written, in my opinion, written well.
She is the most like a Skywalker of all of them, honestly, too. Like young Anakin.
I would agree with that. I actually think she's a lot more like
Luke, I guess.
Well,
in a way too.
Like a cross between Luke and Han.
Okay. I don't really.
She seems like more of a free spirit to me.
Yeah. I don't see the smuggler attitude from her, but
true,
definitely
but it's
don't tell me what to do kind of.
True. But you have her sandwiched kind of in between Anakin, who's kind of erratic, and Jason, who's kind of smug and arrogant.
Well, she has Anakin's confidence without the cockiness.
Sure.
Jason just has the cockiness without the knowledge that Anakin had.
But Jaina also has the skill.
Correct.
To back it up.
She actually has a strong Skywalker blood.
Yeah.
That you don't really see as much from her siblings. I mean,
Jason is powerful, but
I don't think he would win at this point.
We'll talk about kind of obviously what happens with him in the future, but
and we all know, guys, we all know what happens, but we're not going to say it.
Yeah, not yet. Oh, let's see here. So we start the chapter with the Millennium Falcon coming out of hyperspace. Oh,
to go fuel up.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. So they notice that there's a lot of traffic here. Luke comes in and says more traffic than the core. So Lando's always been an enterprising guy. And even on the Outer Rim, this is somebody who he throws his nice cape on and just woos everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like Lando, though. He's a cool character.
Always have. Londo.
Han
and Londo.
So Jaina's trailing him in Luke's X-wing. So she's having the time of her life.
Mm-hmm.
Did they also bring the Jade Saber?
I don't remember reading that.
Okay. Well, they mention it here. Maybe they're just okay.
Yes, they did, because they have Mara coming on through the intercoms at one point.
God.
So yes.
It's like a weird convoy. You couldn't just take in one ship.
Right. They all fit easily in the Falcon, but that's okay.
Whatever.
Well, it was breaking down a lot. Maybe they just wanted to take an extra one in case it broke down.
Maybe.
And they would just stop in the middle of space and, they'd jump out of that without space suits and get in. Let's just continue.
Yeah. So there's some interesting tidbits in here. So, this does do some POV through the eyes of Jaina. She's been in the simulator. She's been in the training room flying. Flying is obviously something that's very important to her, and we'll definitely hear more about that as the series progresses. Yeah. But, it says here the training room was very different from taking the X-Wing on a long and lonely journey. Even Luke had questioned his wife's he had questioned his wife repeatedly about whether Jaina was really ready for this or not. Mara had insisted that she was, and no one could doubt Jaina's piloting prowess. So Mara is Jaina's master, tutor, mentor, whatever you want to call it.
Because I would consider her a master.
Yeah, but I don't think she necessarily refers to herself like that, though, does she?
No.
It's more of like her mentor.
More than anything, yeah.
But she is mentoring Jaina in the Force and in just kind of life here in a lot of ways. But Mara has...
Leia's job.
Well, Mara has a lot of confidence in her. Confidence that her mother does not. And I've never really understood. Okay. I do not think that Leia has always been written very well.
She's a lot softer in the books than she ever was in the movies.
Well, I get it. I get the mother's instincts and stuff, but there are times when I feel like they put too much anxiety in her. Yeah. And too much inner conflict and turmoil that it just kind of it seems off to me. But she has been kind of critical of Jaina. Doesn't really say much about her other kids, but whatever. Yeah, you can tell who's the favorite.
When was the last time she named her other kids? Up until this chapter.
True. Yeah, that's what I was just kind of thinking about before you said that. But yeah, so even Luke, though, is kind of questioning just letting her fly. It's like, Luke, shut your mouth. Just shut your... No, I'm just kidding. How old were you when you blew up the Death Star? Yeah. How old?
And how old was your freaking dad when he was, driving pod racers?
Pod racing! This is pod racing! I think he's about to walk out.
There's can't remember who did the video, but it's like one of those Djibouti dub style things on Star Wars scenes, and they just splice together this scene of little Annie crashing and blowing up his pod racer and going, ah.
Oh, God.
And then they just like roll the credits on Star Wars. Like, well, maybe. Maybe that would be a good thing. But then no Luke. Okay, right. Go ahead.
So, let's see here. So they're approaching the planet. Luke, where is Jaina? Why isn't she out yet? Because Mara fed R2 the wrong coordinates.
Which is great. And by the way, that's a weird way of spelling R2.
That's how they do it
Really?
For the pronunciation. I actually don't like that because when I see actual letter R2...
R2D2, that's how you pronounce it. You say the freaking letter R.
Hey, man, just leave no... Yeah, because, I mean, they spell it out here, ARTOO for R2. And I've never really liked that, but it is what it is. But Mara said, a little test. Jaina's nearby, but far enough out of the system so that she'll have a few reference points and use in writing her course. She's probably panicking. For a while, no doubt, Mara answered, but all she needs to do is look inside herself to seek the Force and its connection between her and us and
R2 knows the way anyway.
Yeah. And in particular, Jason, she'll fly. And R2 knows the real way in any case. So again, Leia's. It's a small test. They're in the same system. Mm-hmm. Mara just is, and you need to be tested.
Yep.
You need to be tested. She the whole thing is like with Leia. Leia never embraced the Force so much. I mean, she does here and there, but she never really became, that Skywalker.
Yeah.
But her daughter should. Her son should.
Honestly, testing Jaina in this way is the equivalent of testing a teenager to see if they can actually cook a meal for themselves.
Yeah.
This really isn't a big deal for her. It just isn't.
Yeah. And then, of course, C-3PO, we have to put him in here. And you notice how they spell out just C-3PO instead of...
They can't do that with old R2.
Whatever.
How do you think they would spell that out?
I don't even want to conjecture
be
about
an abomination.
So, if anything happens to Mistress Jenna, I shall personally scold R2-D2. Oh, he's a real troublemaker, you know. I'm sure he's quite enjoying this. Shut up, C-3PO. Shut your mouth.
Can we just kill him? Kill him in the canon, the new canon.
Darth Austin. He's your ally, and you know it. He's been there since the beginning.
Annie created him, not Darth Vader. Annie was light side.
Listen,
I don't like Annie.
I
don't like Annie.
Why do you think Anakin turned dark? Because his droid was dark.
I wonder if he built him as a training droid like in Force Unleashed. Because Darth Vader built one for that main character that was just designed to try and kill him.
No, Darth Austin, they say it in the movie. He said he wanted to help his mom around with stuff.
How about you just help your mom around with stuff instead of building a robot?
Because Annie has other things to do. Like pod racing. Oh, let's see here. Jaina does come back around. Took you long enough. You know, Mara's kind of japing at her a little bit. Little problem with R2. So, let's see here.
Do you think she knew?
In the beginning, probably not, but I'm sure she guessed, and I think she's smart enough. Oh, let's kind of skip around here. I mean, there's a little bit of a description of the planet here. It's blue and green. That's all you need to know.
Who cares? It's another planet.
Yeah, well. Yep, it does say. Okay, so they did write in the Jade Saber as well. So, yeah, 3 ships. It's good.
Bit overkill, but okay.
Yeah, they sat down here, and then here comes old Lando.
Dubrillions, by the way, Dubrillion is the name of the planet. Or at least the city of the planet.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, good call.
Another cloud-covered city. Good old Lando and his clouds.
Yep, he comes sweeping out and said, what does he say to him? Ha-ha!
We're at different points in the book. I'm trying to find it. We don't have the same book here.
You got to keep up.
Hey, I was reading about clouds, man. I had my head in the clouds.
Got your head in the clouds.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
He laughed, moving over to Rap Han in a great hug.
Big old hug. Then he does his flattery of all the women.
And only old Han
and then
glares at him.
Mara says, not many people dare to hug me.
And his response, go ahead and say it in Lando's voice, because that's just a perfect response.
That leaves more of you for me. I can't say it. That leaves more of you for me then. Lando is a little creepy.
And then Luke's just like nodding and smiling. It's like, Luke, you're an oblivious idiot.
Oh, they all know Lando too much. He's, well, I mean, not to spoil too much, but he's a droid lover.
Yeah. Not C-3PO.
No.
R2-D2, though.
Get out of here. Jeez, that was like a really random point in the Solo movie. We'll talk about that one.
Yeah, that was great. I loved it. And then I had to kill her. Oh. Love that was never meant to be.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
how much bigger are you going to get? He asked the 3 kids. And they just respond like kids who don't really know the person, kind of remember them from a party 5 years ago that their parents took them to, but not really.
Yeah, exactly. So he does, Lando kind of gives them a little bit of a demonstration of, the mining that he's been doing here. And from earlier chapters, we kind of learned that he's been attempting to figure out some new mining techniques. There was that whole platinum asteroid thing that he was trying to get.
Yeah, but there's also nice little revelation that he's also trying to perfect technology for the TIE fighter.
Yeah, and that's kind of...
really that could be used for any smaller ship.
Well, and Luke even speculates a little bit about this too, because the advancements that they're making to the TIE fighters would be pretty revolutionary for small ships.
Yep, because it would basically it'd be like the equivalent, I'm going to go full-on mechanic nerd here, the equivalent of taking the alternator out of a car and not requiring that load on the engine to charge your battery.
Yep.
Basically, so you get more power out of it. Be a big deal. Big deal until, you had to fly to a Death Star where you probably couldn't have that space station help you much. But,
right.
But let's not think about that.
So they showed the TIE fighter, excuse me. Whew. It's getting late. It's getting late, ladies and gentlemen. I'm too old for this.
Flying, and we're done.
Well, Lando does give the children the opportunity to fly the TIE fighters.
Which we knew from
we knew
quite a while ago that was going to happen, at least.
Well, the whole thing, when we talk about running the belt, that was something we talked about a little earlier, and it's like kind of like a game in a way for them. And it's basically running these super TIE fighters through this asteroid belt.
Basically training smugglers on how to run the course. It's not a spoiler. That was already mentioned.
Quiet now.
Multiple chapters ago.
Don't tell anybody about that. Okay, so, I don't want to go through all this technical.
They changed the TIE fighter stuff to make it more gooders.
Yeah, repulsor shields, different defensive arrays. They're equipped for hyperdrive.
Yep.
And the whole thing about TIE fighters, though, TIE fighters are basically like kamikazes.
Yeah, they're bare bone. They're not really trying to put a lot of...
They're made for speed and firepower. They're not really made to withstand the rigors that, say, an X-Wing or, I don't know, like, I always loved A-Wings. Those were always sweet. Or the Y-Wing.
X-Wing was my favorite out of all. I think that was everyone's favorite. But
X-Wings are sweet, but, you got to remember on the ice planet Hoth, those little ships taken down. I just thought they were cool.
The A-Wings were cool. I never got why they were called A-Wings.
Because they're shaped like an A.
No, they're not.
I don't know.
They're like rectangular.
Who knows?
They're like space shuttles with a cable on them.
If you look over at my bookcase, I have my X-Wing over there. That was from like the 90s. And I also had an A-Wing too, but I don't know where that ever went.
Didn't you have one that it was a walker and it was an A-Wing with its cable actually attaching to it?
I don't remember. Maybe.
I thought you had a model like
We had a lot of crap. I had all the Legos of all this stuff too. But anyway, so here we go. We've got Jaina, Jason, and Anakin in
Lanny.
In the TIE fighters. I think they also mentioned another Jedi was here as well.
Master and student actually had gotten first and second place, I believe. And it actually, I think it said they're still there.
What were their names?
Ooh, I have to find that. Hold on one second. If you find it first, just show me.
Kip Duran and his apprentice Miko. Yeah. So Kip Duran and then his apprentice Miko.
Yeah, we'll go with Miko. Miko it is.
So let's see here. I do want to back up just a little bit. Oh, so Luke is actually super impressed with these TIE fighters.
Very.
Like when they mention the hyperdrive, he's like, he gets a little engineer boner. Mm-hmm. He's pretty into this. I mean, he built the Jade Saber and all. I mean, nothing big, but just a cool little ship. So his engineering type of mind is going in on these, but yeah, I mean we kind of get into the rest of the chapter here is basically them running the proverbial belt.
Yeah, Jason's terrible at it. Annie's less terrible at it.
Which is interesting. He's so in tuned. Well,
and that kind of goes back to Jason has a strong connection with the Force, so he can basically do anything well because of the Force. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have Anakin or Jaina's skill level with flying.
And this is I'm going to touch on this quite a bit, and this is going to be my main point for this chapter. First and foremost, Anakin does beat Jason.
Yes.
Oh.
Skill over Force prowess, I
but
guess.
The one thing I do want to point out, so Jane is going through this course, and she is being much more reactionary. When little Annie was doing pod racing, the whole point of why he was good was because of his perception.
Yep.
And the Force giving him basically the, what do you want to call it, like the clairvoyance or the foresight to basically see what could happen in order for the reactions to be much quicker.
Yep.
But Jaina at this point is not so much like that. She's relying on reaction. She's relying on pure piloting skill. So in the beginning of all this, she is not really relying on the Force.
Yep.
Okay?
And I'm pretty sure that there's no point where she actually uses the Force for any of her piloting skills. It's all just raw skill.
She does eventually, and she does a little bit here once she starts to get in trouble. Because, during... You got to think, this is a big asteroid field, okay?
There is a scene where she needs it.
But, even Mara during this kind of points it out as well. She needs to find her center, and then, but just to kind of roll us along here.
Now, the question is, because I really haven't touched on it, is her lightsaber combat skills.
That's something that'll be interesting to see as we move along.
Because you already know that Jason is very good with a saber. Annie, not terrible,
he's
but
more
not
mechanical.
So much. Yeah, he's a mechanic. Jaina's the pilot, and Jason's kind of portrayed as the monk warrior, kind of, in a way. So they all have their strong points. So it'll be interesting to see, though, how well-rounded Jaina's character is.
Right. Oh, let's see here. And by the way, this is all being timed. So the first time mark we get here, she's been out 5 minutes and 32 seconds. Kid can fly, Han says.
And what does the Jedi Master have? Around 11 minutes, I want to say. Now I'm just going by memory here because I haven't found it in the book yet.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
I want to say it's around 11.
I skimmed through the chapter again before we did this, but wasn't my most interested chapter.
Yeah, I'm not a fly boy.
Yeah, well, it's cool and all, I guess, but around this point though is I believe, Jason actually makes the comment here. She's found her inner peace. And Luke asked, "Did you?" Jason nodded, "But I didn't have the flying skill to complement it." Jason has the whole package. So here's kind of the interesting part.
Jaina, I believe you meant to say.
No, Jaina has the whole package, yeah.
Probably the most interesting
here's the thing.
Quip in the whole chapter.
Right. This kind of glosses over a lot of things. With the Force, though, and maybe, you flesh these out in different ways, but with the Force, you can do amazing things.
Yes.
Jane is already an accomplished pilot. She can do pretty much whatever she wants at the helm of a ship. Jason cannot. Jason has the Force ability to sort of augment a little bit, but not fully because he doesn't have the skill. Jaina not only has the skill, but she has the potential to reach that inner peace, so to speak, as they call it, and be able to fly better.
Almost perfectly, in a sense.
Yep.
By the way they describe her flying.
And at this point, she's hit the 7-minute mark, putting Jaina high on the board. Lando remarks she'll be no lower than third, and no one's had a tougher course to fly. And he's wanting to broadcast this all over the planet, you know. Let's see.
I believe Luke has a little comment on that.
If you have it, say it, man.
I'm looking for it, man. We have different sized books, man.
Yeah, but Jason also does comment here that Kip is definitely out there watching this.
Yeah,
you know.
which will be interesting.
They've taken notice.
Run into him on the next chapter, hopefully.
Oh, we should. And then, you know, this whole next couple paragraphs is just like this weird kind of, it feels like she crashed and then did all this weird spinny stuff. I'm not going to describe it all. But finally, though, when she breaches the asteroid field, finally gets out, the control room was silent. Stunned silence. Timer clock had stopped the moment Janus Tai had exited the belt. 27 minutes, 27 seconds. The kid
can fly.
So that's it for the chapter. She flew. They came. They flew. They beat records.
Chapter 11. Boom.
Kip Duran can suck it. You know. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on that chapter?
I'm not much into flying in any capacity. It kind of bores me to read about flying, but as far as the little insights into the Force and how they augment their skills based on the skill levels that they had, but for that, it was interesting. Getting to see Lando's always fun.
Yeah, that's cool to see him again.
You're going to be running into another Jedi soon. A master at that, because he is actually ranked as master, I believe, in this chapter.
I think the most interesting part for me is the difference in the kids.
Definitely.
Jane, I feel like, just at this point, if I didn't read anything else, I would be probably disappointed in Jason.
Yep.
I mean, just probably static with Anakin, but highly impressed with Jaina.
Yeah, I hate to say it because I haven't really given him much of a chance, but Anakin's, I don't want to say a throwaway character, but I just don't care either way when he's got any screen time.
There's going to be more, obviously, about him in the future, but right now, you know, he fixes stuff. He can kind of fly. He can kind of saber fight. Yeah, he's being taught by Luke. Cool. Yeah. Jason, there's obviously a little bit more, I would call it a darker connotation at this point with his arrogance. But then, you know, again, Jaina, I think, is kind of the interesting part because this is really the first chapter that they've really highlighted her. Yeah, she's been in other chapters like, yeah, she's just flying. She was just, you know, doing whatever at the bridge of the Jade Saber. That's cool.
This is the real showcase for her. Jason's had his showcase with the fight with Anakin. Yeah, this is just as good of a showcase. Just didn't pique my interest.
Yeah, I'm just more impressed with this than I was with Jason and his little quabbling with his brother.
I liked the chapter. It didn't make me like Jason more.
Yeah.
This actually made me like Jaina more.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting, but I agree. I mean, it wasn't my favorite chapter by any stretch, but, you know, it's
a filler.
It's filler. It's a little bit
from a really good, beefy chapter before it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a tone down, like your post-workout protein shake, bro. So, anyway, it was just, the interesting part for me was just the development of the kids.
Sure.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that and running into Lando was definitely a good. It's not a
we all love
not
Lando.
too bad of a chapter.
No,
I'm excited to see what happens next, and I haven't really looked forward into chapter 11. I believe I just said boom, but I can only assume it's going to be more on the Yuuzhan Vong, probably.
No, I don't. Yeah, I haven't really looked ahead. So
we shall see.
I try not to look ahead. I mean, I've read all these books in the future or in the past, but it's been a while. So, I mean, I'm looking at these with semi-fresh eyes. I mean, I remember more as I read along, but It's been a good ride so far. So we're certainly trying to to continue on and get more content out there. But for all of you listening, definitely appreciate the support. Again, if you have any questions, comments, theories, anything you'd like us to discuss on the podcast, check us out on Facebook. Hit the old like button, send us a message, or you can send us an email at tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. You can also check us out at Patreon, just patreon.com/the Contingency Plan Podcast. We are going to be, as soon as I edit the video here, probably this week, putting up our second dinner with the Patreon, God, I can't say
with the patrons.
Dinner with the patrons on Patreon. And that's just kind of where
Unless you want us to call you Patreons.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Or would you like us to call you Praetorian Vogs?
How about we just call them...
What is it called? It's not Praetorian. Is it Praetorian?
Yeah. We'll just call them Master.
We'll call them Praetorians.
Get out of here. Anyway, but yeah, that's just kind of a cool little series where we sit down, we eat with you, and just kind of discuss whatever's on our minds.
Complain about not getting the right order.
Yeah, oh God. Yeah, you can watch the episode to figure out the debacle of the ordering. But anyway, that's if you'd like to support the channel, it's a good place to start. We're going to build that up as time goes by. We've been already kind of talked a little bit about T-shirts and some other stuff, and maybe some logo redesigns, and just we've had some maybe original ideas for a couple things, and we'll see as time progresses. But Patreon's a good place to support us if you'd like to. Obviously not required, but something a little extra for you, extra cherry on top.
Please talk to me on Facebook.
He's so lonely. He posts all of his memes, man. He just wants to talk.
Nobody likes my memes except my brother.
He does post some pretty good memes on there.
No, guys, I understand. New channel, but I'm excited to get that going and have some discussions with you guys. The whole point of this is bringing nerds together to talk about what we love. So.
Yeah, exactly. Once it gets bigger, though, we'll create a group within the page, a little discussion group and everything. But we're still.
And I'll create my secret group to show all the offensive Star Wars memes.
Get out of here, man. But yeah,
all I'll say is Anakin likes killing them younglings.
He does.
Younglings.
He sure does.
Youngles.
Yeah, God. We're getting a little loopy.
Can't talk. I'm a little
We're getting
tired,
loopy. We've eaten food and we're tired. But anyway, I think this is where we'll leave you. We appreciate everybody stopping by. You guys are the reason we do it, and we're going to continue to grow the podcast as we can. So for Darth Austin, I'm Darth. I'm Jedi Master David. God, I'm not editing that out either.
I wish you wouldn't.
I'm not. I'm leaving it right there. You guys can chuckle. But for Darth Austin, I'm Jedi Master David. You guys have a great rest of your week.
And may the Force be with you.